Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Amanda and today I have a design team layout for Scrap a Sketch, and this is the sketch that we're using, and so this is up on Scrap a Sketch's Facebook group and you can go play along there. There is also a website where you can get printables and other sketches and all sorts of goodies. So these printables that I have here are from Scrap a Sketch. They're called Paint a Rainbow. And I put them into my counterfeit kit challenge this month because it worked really well with the kit we were counterfeiting. And look at how pretty they are. So I'm going to cut my photo of my oldest, who is focusing a camera for portraits, out of the circle. And I am having fun playing with circles in sketches right now. That's been quite a bit of fun. So I did think about doing this rainbow burst as my whole background pattern paper, but when I get the strips on, the strips kind of get lost. So I am not going to use the whole piece, but I am going to use some of it. And I have all these little pieces I've used in other layouts this month, but are all Scrap a Sketch printables. So most of my layout ends up being Scrap a Sketch except for the wood veneer that will be for Iron Crafter's Hop today, and that's with Tara This Paper Snob puts that up, and she chooses a stash item to use on layouts on the third Friday of every month, and so that's a lot of fun. And then I am doing this other bit on the side here, and I did think about that sunburst going out the front side of the camera, but then this piece here I'm doing right now wouldn't have made too much sense. So I am going to have it on both sides here, and that's looking pretty good. I am going to stay pretty close to the sketch for this month. I don't always, but this month I am. I am going to grunge up some of this stuff a bit, so I'm going to add some black soot Distresside ink there. The pink piece here, I didn't cut the white border off yet, so I will do that here in a second. And then this blue piece, all of this, this other pink piece, the pattern's going the other way, but it doesn't matter. Nobody's really going to notice that unless I point it out like I just did. And then I'm going to cut the white piece off and just do that last bit of that inking there. And then gonna get some of this on. So I did get a fingerprint on that a little bit for that sunburst pattern, so I did grunge it up a little bit. Because it's a printable, I could just go and print it again, but I'm gonna be the only one who actually notices the fingerprint, and so I'm not too concerned about it. But if it really bothered me, I totally could. On that blue piece, you can see that I printed it at 2 different scales, and so I'm using the smaller scale on this, which is totally fine. Big scale, small scale. That's one of the things I really enjoy about printables is you can change the scale on a lot of printables so that the pattern is a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. So there is some variability there that I can absolutely do. So just lining this up. I cut those in half because technically I could print more of this off, and I actually do have a full sheet of the blue heart still, because I did use that quite a bit this month. However, if I cut it and it's going across the photo, I don't need to use that extra bit because it's not going to be seen anyway. That smaller piece there I do get here, and there is a gap there, and so I was thinking I could use some wood veneer to cover that up, but I'm going to change it a little bit here so it's not as big of a deal. I decided that my title is going to be in the wood veneer, and so I'm just going to call it Focus because that is literally what she's doing. And then I'm going to look for some more wood veneer. So I'm just going to pull out a bunch of different things. I have quite a few, well, I have lots of wood veneer, but I have these like 2 portrait ones, and I think I'm 99% sure they came from a old Studio Calico when they were doing the 12 by 12 kits, which was a long time ago. So I'm going to use part of those because they are like the portrait frame kind of idea. And where else am I going to use them, really? So I have both, all sets of that left. So I'm going to use those. And then I'm just taking a look to see what else I've got in here. I did pull out a few cameras because the cameras made sense. I was hoping to find like something else. I don't know. Like, I thought I had a little bit more things, but maybe they're somewhere else. So, and then for a moment here, I thought I would put this frame in here and help that cover it up. And I don't mind that, but then I have to back the frame because you can see the burst paper, and I'm not sure it's what I like. So I'm still playing with this, trying to decide what I want to do. I'm thinking I'm committing to where those papers are. Totally not. I did pull out some of the printables there to see what else I could do, and then I play with my wood veneer more. So there's a house that I pulled out. There's a bunch of cameras. I'm not going to use all of them, but I did want a camera on here because that is the story, is her using her camera to do all sorts of different things. And then I decided I definitely do want these portraits with the frame. So I'm going to back them with a little bit of this sunburst pattern. Are the lines going to go exactly the right way? No. Are they going to be in the right spot? Still no. Is it totally okay? Yep, totally okay. The only person that has to like this page is me and maybe this kiddo. But she likes it. So that's great. So getting that on, I'm like, yep, probably there. Maybe there. I don't know. So it's covering up the bottom part, not too bad. And then I'm like, what if I put this over here? And maybe I'll move the title so it's not straight across like it is in the sketch, but like this. And I'm like, yeah, that's all right. But I still have to do something with this top bit that I'm not liking, where the gap is. And I'm like, ugh. So the struggle is real. So I'm going to move this blue over because I had an idea for what I want to do with the title now, because I don't really like it on the side there. I don't know why, I just don't. So I'm going to rip this up, and this is cardstock, but it is a thinner cardstock, so I can put it in my printer. So it does rip a little bit, but most of that's not going to be seen. And then this one can sneak under there a bit more. That's okay. I lost the bottom part of my pink. I have no idea where I put it. So I am looking for it. And I can't find it. I thought I took all this out. My apologies. And still can't find it. And I'm going to decide here really quick that it is not worth trying to find. I have another piece right here, and if I want more pink later, I'll just print more pink. So there we go. Another piece. I do need to ink that up, which I do remember, which is amazing because when I do stuff like this, I don't always remember, which is kind of funny. So that's all moved over a little bit, and I'm like, now what? Maybe I don't want that one piece, maybe the purple. And then I decide ultimately that I don't want the purple, but I prep the purple, so you're going to see me prep the purple. So sometimes the struggle is real in the, what am I doing and why am I doing it? And I'm like, it does go with the collection, and it is pretty, and I do like it. I just wasn't adding anything to the layout for me, and I do like the pop of the white with the pattern a little bit better. So this is going to stay, and it's going to overlap the two, which is more of in line with what the sketch is anyway for these 3 pieces of paper. And then I can sneak stuff here and here, like there, maybe. No. I totally do want that to stay there. I'm just trying to play with like the actual sketch and how things are, but then I decide that I can change things a little bit. So where I'm putting the F on the focus for my title, There was a cluster there. I am going to put a camera up there to kind of mimic the cluster, but my title, instead of going where that female portrait is, I'm going to put a small little cluster there. And so then it looks like that's what Matea is focusing on, is this portrait. And then there's this other portrait facing the other way. And so that works out better. I'm going to get a little bit of purple on here because I'm just going to back this one camera in the purple because I can, and why not? So I'm just going to glue it right on, and then I'm just going to cut around the edges because I can. And I did use the Polaroid version of the camera for no reason other than it was a little bit more bulky than some of the other ones that I picked out. And so I did back one other one, but I decided not to use it. And then I am going to get a film strip on here because there is a film strip on the sketch in purple to tie in a little bit purple. And I like purple, and I wanted purple on here. It just not with the paper I had picked out. So just lining that up and sliding that underneath that wood veneer because I totally glued that whole thing down already. And then decided, nope, don't need that one. And then the last thing I'm going to do is some splatter, I think. Well, I'm going to take a look at a couple of the printables for the icons and go, nah, probably not. Not today. So a little bit of black soot, and I'm just going to do it on both sides of where the sunburst is. And then I am going to dry brush the middle of those portraits so they're darker. And I'm not super happy with that part of things, but it is what it is, and it's done, and oh well. And would you have known that if I hadn't told you? Nope. So all good. Wiping off my photo. This is going to come up for a close-up. And then there'll be some still shots here to follow. There will be a playlist for Iron Crafters below, so make sure you go take a look at all of the creatives and what they've done with their wood veneer. This is also a Scrap a Sketch creative team layout, so make sure you go over to the blog or the Facebook group for Scrap a Sketch so you can play along with this sketch. And there is also a code here coming up. If you want to go to the website and get these printables, you get 10% off all printables, books, and stencils using the Amanda 10 code at checkout. Thank you so much for being here today. If you're new to my channel, I would love it if you hit my face there to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.